Hello and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, guys, I have for you my 4-2-3-1 new gen and old gen custom tactics, and this formation is one that works a lot better if you're trying to hold a lead or in a really tight game and you really need to feel out your opponent. I use these on both old and new gen. I think they're more suited to new gen though overall, so if you do play on that version of the game, you're going to want to watch this video. But for the old gen people, I know there's a lot of you out there, and that is why you guys do follow the channel. These do work really well on old gen too. Of course, I do play a lot, very often, of both versions of the game, so I want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out. So these tactics are tried and tested on both of the versions of the game. Of course, I do player reviews on both versions as well, so that is how I know that they do work. Without further ado though, guys, let's get into the instructions. Alright guys, starting off with the instructions, and we've got Sammy Eto'o up front here, his prime card. We've got Mbappe, Mahrez and Luis Diaz as the cams. So for the striker in this formation, you're just going to want to stay central and stay forward. Now Eto'o really isn't too bad for this formation, but you want somebody that's strong, can pass on both feet and has the ability to win headers. Now Eto'o's got all of that. Of course, he's not the tallest in the world though, so if you have someone like Wout Weghorst, for example, Peter Crouch, Ronaldo, Ginola, for example, all work really well in this position. And it's really important, if you're going to use the 4-2-3-1, that your striker is able to do all of the hold-up play stuff, is able to pass on both feet, is able to pass generally as well. And Eto'o gives us that. Of course, you've got the engine on him as well. And yeah, somebody like this is very important. You don't want somebody like, for example, like a Ben Yedder in this formation. They just don't really cut it because they're small and they're good dribbling wise, but you need somebody that's able to do all of the things that Weghorst does in real life almost. You know, he's not just there to score goals, he's there to lay off the ball as well to the other cams that do get involved in the game heavily. And moving on to the cams now, first of all, your middle cam needs to at least have a 5-star weak foot or 5-star skills. It's very important. If you can get both, it's absolutely brilliant. But of course, one thing you have to account for is you might think, oh, let me use Ginola in this position. That is an absolute no-go. You need to make sure they have good passing as well. And Ginola's passing isn't the best. So someone like Johan Cruyff, someone like Neymar in this position is the absolute creme de la creme. Of course, we've got Riyad Mahrez, who has the 5-star skills and the 4-star weak foot. But 4-star on either or has to be absolutely 100% the lowest you're going for in this position. But I would recommend 5-star skills or weak foot. And as I said, if you can utilise both, do both. And stay forward on him and stay on the edge of the box for cross. The reason for that is if he's on the edge, he can do a nice power shot or a finesse shot. Of course, he has a finesse shot trait as well. So a very, very good card here and an important position on the team once again. Striker and middle cam are the two most important positions on this team, and are kind of, you need to curate positions for these two because, you know, they're very specific. And that's what I found to be really important in this formation if you want to get it to work correctly, is making sure you have specific players for these positions. I've given you a few examples already, so just make sure you go off that. And if you guys need any help, make sure you get in the comment section and I will respond to your comments and questions. For the two wide cams, we have just get into the box for cross on these. A lot of players put comeback on defense on your wide cams. You don't really need it, I've found. And, you know, having them on get into the box for crosses, they're there for byline crosses and general crosses on either side, which is really nice. And, you know, the comeback on defense is something that was used a lot last year in this formation. I just don't think you need it. And if you do have it, you struggle on counter-attacks. So having this on just basic defense support, I found to be the best. And the get into the box for cross is very good for crossing, of course, and for the byline cutbacks and all that kind of horrible stuff that you have to play against every single game. But of course, you know, you've got to be using it if you want the best results in champs. So make sure you just have these on get into box for cross. Now for our CDMs, guys, we have Locatelli and Barella. And Locatelli is your defensive option here, or in my case, my defensive option. And he's on cut passing lane, stay out while attacking and cover centre. You don't need to put cover wing on your CDMs here because you've already got the width covered via your left back and right back and your two cams. Cut passing lanes is also really good, I've found, on your defensive minded CDM, and so just kind of get in the way of lanes, and it's really nice. And stay out while attacking is of course very, very important for the CDM. And you know, I cut passing lanes anyway, so having the defensive behavior on that is okay as well. And you know, it's just really good for essentially cutting out the passing lanes. There's nothing more to really say about it than that. But a lot of people, when they control their CDM, are looking to cut the passing lanes anyway, so just improving on that with the defensive behaviour being on cut passing lanes, I found to work an absolute treat. Then we've got Barella, who is our more attacking-minded CDM. He's on balanced attack and cover centre once again, but also cut passing lanes. As I said, I found this to be really good and works really well on this game. It's just to have that on both of them, as they don't really have to worry about, or you don't have to worry as much about cutting the lanes off. But because they've got good aggression, it also does work for pressing forward as well and getting the ball back quickly. So you can cut a lane off, and then because their aggression and how quick they are as well, I find to be really, really crucial in a CDM spot. And they get the ball back quite often just by that defensive behaviour, sticking on the cut passing lanes. You've got man mark or tight mark, which I don't really like. So cut passing lanes is the one to go for on your CDMs there. And another thing to talk about real quick about your CDMs, I don't have it with Barella, but 4-star weak foot is important on your CDMs. You want to be able to pass on both feet. But what I usually do with Barella in this formation is I just drive into spaces with him on his right foot, and not a lot of people predict that. So if you can get a 4-star weak foot, absolute minimum, go for it. 3-star weak foot is okay with your attacking CDM if you're going to use them a lot going forward. And then guys, for our right back and left back here, we just have them on stay up while attacking. Of course, you guys know that if I want to change this in game, I will go up and left on the D-pad and put them on the attacking fullbacks. That means you don't have to worry about putting them or pausing the game and then putting them on joining attack or whatever and really stopping the flow of the game. I find that to be an issue. So just have them on stay up while attacking, and if you need them to go forward, join the attack up and left on the D-pad will work for that. With that being said though guys, those are the instructions. Let's get into the actual custom tactics. For cheap FIFA 23 coins, make sure to check out MMOEXP.com to get fast and reliable coins, and make sure you use code VIPER at checkout, get yourself a 5% discount. Right then fellas, for the custom tactics you're going to see on your screen right now, we've got pressure on heavy touch. I found this to be really good as of late. Basically a gegenpress with a little bit more less effectiveness because they're not as aggressive with it. It's it's very, very good on new gen because of how many heavy touches there are. Doesn't feel as good on old gen because there isn't as many heavy touches, but there's no issue with having this on old gen either. But this is definitely a tactic more so used for new gen with how many heavy touches there are. And if you do get one on old gen, that's good. You know, it's not going to affect you if you don't have this on. So this is probably the best tactic you can have other than balanced. In my personal opinion, press after position loss is just too much. And it's basically a B-Tech gegenpress, and it works really, really well on this game. 50 width and then 65 depth for this formation and tactic. Now the 65 depth is of course because I have really fast defenders. It's very important that you put this up if you've got fast defenders, as you'll be able to play offside traps a lot quicker and you'll be able to catch your opponent offside an awful lot as well. And I find that to be very important in this game as well. You know, if you can get on the ascendancy after getting an offside trap or just constantly offside trapping, you're going to be able to scare your opponent very quickly. It's going to be like, oh god, this guy really does mean business. The high depth does play into that as well. You do catch a lot of your opposition offside as well, just with this on. Just making sure you're offside trapping a lot as well. That's just down twice on the D-pad to offside trap, and it brings your line all the way up as well, which is nice. And aggressive as well, which I find a great way to play this game. Balance for the build-up play. Now, you guys know how much I love fast build-up, but in the 4-2-3-1, you don't really need it. It's not as aggressive. You know, it's meant to be a bit more of a possession formation, and one that you're going to feel out your opponent with and really dominate the game and slowly build up. So no need for the fast build up here. Keep this on balance and it will work a treat for you. You can try fast build up on it if you want it as well. I don't mind it, but I do feel like balance is, believe it or not, more balanced for this formation, and that is why I keep that on. Direct passing, once again guys, my favourite chance creation tactic, and probably my favourite tactic ever on FIFA. Really good for the driven passes, really good for runs in behind. It kind of offers you a lot. As you can see on the diagram down there, what it kind of does is allows you to kind of go for them direct passes and the quick tiki-taka, and then the runs in behind are really nice. Now, the 4-2-3-1 isn't really a run in behind formation, but it does offer you a little bit something else in this formation, especially because you can't put getting behind on your cams. It essentially works as getting behind for your cams in this formation, which is quite nice. For the width, lads, we have this a little bit higher as well than usual. 65, I look at this as a wide formation. I want my two wide cams to be really wide as well, to sprint boost down the line, to be able to look for them cutbacks as well, and for the travellas and outside the foot shots, of course, and the finesse shots. This works really well for that. You can cut inside, you can go down the line as well if you like, and having the higher width does play into that. Make sure you've got good passers in your fullback positions, and you'll absolutely love this higher width. And yeah, guys, you know, I'm talking about finesse shots there. and sprint boost. And if you want to go check out how I do these things, go and check out my last video. It's how to do the sprint boost, how to do the time finesses, how to do all of that kind of stuff. So make sure you go and give that video a watch. And then guys, the last thing to talk about is the players on the box or in the box. I always have this on 6, as I find this to be the best and the most effective for crosses and byline cutbacks. Works really well to just find somebody in the box from the edge of the area as well. You know, a good driven pass in, a good through ball in, works really well with this 6 players in the box. I wouldn't go any lower and I wouldn't go any higher. I find this to be the absolute sweet spot. Corners and free kicks is entirely up to you. Whatever corner routine you've got kind of depends on how much you have this on, but I like 2 because I go short and look for the finesse shot. Free kicks really doesn't matter, in my opinion. You're either going to shoot or go short off a free kick, aren't you? So there's no need to have that above 2. You can even have that on 1. It really doesn't matter, guys. But those are the 4-2-3-1 custom tactics that I have been using, and I find to be really balanced and really effective in this game, especially if you want to spat out champs. You've got that bonus objective right now in champs for this weekend. I assume a lot more people are going to be playing champs for that junior Furpo as well. And use these tactics, guys, and I promise you, you'll have a good weekend league. But guys, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on the bell so you do never miss a video. But guys, that is going to be it for me for now, so take care.